Hey guys, Scott here. Hope you're good. Hope you're staying safe during this pandemic. It's crazy times right now. Just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been watching my recording studio videos as I've been building this studio since November. Your comments have been really encouraging and they've been awesome, so thank you so much for your comments. I've been getting quite a few questions actually about the types of soundproofing I've been using, and got a few questions on YouTube, a few questions on Facebook, but they all had a similar twang to them, so I'm hopefully going to be able to answer all the questions quite broadly here. That's the hope. So so the main question I get asked is about mass loaded vinyl, which I've got a tube of right here, and whether if you just use mass loaded vinyl, say you've got a little rehearsal studio and you put some mass loaded vinyl up on the walls, will that do the job in soundproofing it completely? And the short, disappointing answer is no. That won't cut the mustard, I'm afraid. The room will sound way better because you've got mass loaded vinyl up on the walls, and so there'll be a bit less echo, and it will soundproof it like a teeny tiny bit, but not enough for a live band or really anything, so mass loaded vinyl alone won't do the job. Mass loaded vinyl, from the research I did back in sort of February, around that time, I got my plasterboard up on the wall here. I got some acoustic plasterboard put up on the shed walls, and then I was like, right, I now need to do some further soundproofing. What do I do? And I did lots of research into it, and found lots of different methods for how best to soundproof it, and I talked to some professionals on the phone, and these soundproofing guys, they kept giving me a lot of different advice as to what to do, and they said actually it's best when you combine several different soundproofing materials together, because they catch sound in different ways, and that's just going to benefit you. And they said actually that the best way to soundproof a room really is to create a room within the room. And I'd heard this before, performing sort of Inception on your recording studio and building a room within it. And so I started looking into it, and they started quoting me these installations of building a room inside the shed, and it was just a lot. It was a lot of money, and because I've got big beams that go up on the ceiling, it was just gonna be really tricky installing some of it. And really, what I would have to do is tear it all down and build a custom shed designed for building a room within it. And when I started out this journey, I was learning a lot about soundproofing, but I never thought that would be a problem. So I got the beams put in to obviously support the ceiling. So I can't build a room within the studio. So I was like, crud, what am I going to do? How do I do it? And so the guys at the soundproofing place, that sounds so official, doesn't it? The soundproofing place. But the companies I talked to, they said if you can't do the room within the room, there are other methods you can use to enhance your soundproofing. They said because I already had a level of insulation in and 12.5mm acoustic plasterboards, and that was gonna help. And they said if you put up a layer of MLV on the walls, combined with those other layers, that will be really helpful. That's going to help catch a lot of the sound. They said it won't be fully soundproofed. They said the problem with building a wood shed is that it's never fully soundproof. Sound is always going to travel through it. Brick or stone, that's a much better building type for a studio rather than wood, and so I know that now. And so I decided to get the MLV because they said it will hopefully take off another 20 to 27 decibels off the sound, and I thought, wow, that's quite a lot, and it has taken off 20 to 27 decibels of sound in here, and that's helped. That's helped a lot. When I play drums loud in here, it's about 60 decibels outside the studio from a meter or two away, which is still like I need to bring it down a bit. But for day-to-day purposes, playing acoustic guitar, playing a bit of drums, at a moderate level, what my setup is doing well. However, if I had the money, if I, with the benefit of hindsight, if I could go back in time and I had the money, I would build a custom shed. I'd do the room within the room method, because they say that's the best method for doing a recording studio. That's what I do. And so you put up the metal bars along the side of the wall, and then against those bars you put up a layer of plasterboards, and usually you get this specialised plasterboard that's got MLV built into it. I believe it's called Tech Sound, and that's what you'd use. So it usually, in any of these scenarios, MLV shows up. So it's a really good material, and it's changed the sound of this room, definitely. Before, I'd quite a lot of echo in here. Now echo's been reduced significantly to the point where there really is very little echo. I've also put up acoustic foam to help that, so that helps as well. So yes, I definitely recommend MLV, but MLV alone will not help. And even when you stack materials like I've done here with MLV on top, it's still not 100% going to work. I'm happy with the sound of the room. I'm happy with the soundproofing at the moment. But, if I could go back in time, I would do things a lot differently. So if you're starting at the beginning of your journey and you have a bit of money to spend, I definitely recommend going to a proper soundproofing website and looking into the room within the room method. It is costly, it's very technical. If you can get someone else to install it for you, if you're not very DIY savvy like I'm not, then that's probably best. But if you are DIY savvy, you can probably figure it out. So that's my recommendation. I hope this has been helpful. I've had quite a few people asking, if I put some MLV up, will that help? Sadly, no. But if you're in my situation, you've already got a couple of different soundproofing materials up. Putting some MLV up will help, but doesn't completely eliminate sound on the outsides of the building. Anywho, hope you've enjoyed. Please subscribe. There's some links below to some MLV if you want to check out the specs. I've been Scott. Peace, stay awesome. See you later.